Hi, first grade. It is time for math, and I have some friends with me who are going to help. I have Pikachu, Spirit, and Rashid. So today we're going to talk about a unit of measurement called a foot. And I borrowed this from Mr. Angers' toolbox because I don't have a ruler. But if you have seen a ruler before, that like wooden stick with the numbers and the lines on it, that is a foot long. A foot is about 12 inches. And a foot is called a foot because it's about the size of a grown-up foot. Sometimes a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller. So the reason that we call it a foot is because a long, long time ago, when people used to measure things, they didn't have a tool for measuring. So they would kind of measure like this. Let's see if you can see. So like if I was going to measure Pikachu, I would use my foot. I would say he's about 1, 2, almost 3 feet with his ears long. But I'm sure you guys know that there are lots of different kinds of feet. My feet and your feet are probably not the same size. What about Rashid's feet? They're super, super small. So that's why we had to make one tool of measurement, like on a ruler, that's called a foot. That's actually always going to be the same every single time. So I also have something kind of silly that I shared with you guys today. It's a Dr. Seuss book called The Foot Book, and it's about lots of different kinds of silly feet. And maybe if you have some time to look at it, you can think about how silly it would be if we tried to measure with all those different kinds of feet instead of just one type of foot. So today, you guys are going to do some measuring using your foot. Now, there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can step, how I did, making sure that you're not overlapping, you're not leaving gaps, right? Going in a straight line. You could, ask somebody to trace your foot. I stepped on a piece of paper and I traced around it and then I cut it out and I got my foot, and then I could use that to lay out and measure. Or you can get some shoes and use your shoe to measure your foot. Maybe if you have a couple of shoes and they're the same size because they're both for your foot, you can use them to measure too. So I'm going to measure my friends that I have here using my foot measurement. So your foot measurement, I'm thinking, will probably be a little bit smaller than my foot measurement. So let's start with Rashid. I'm going to lay all my friends down here when I measure them. First, I want to measure how tall Rashid is. Rashid is about 1 foot tall, probably actually a little less. Now I want to measure how wide Rashid is. That's like across him. He's about 1 foot wide. Even though he's a little bit less than 1 foot, for today, we'll just say about. So Rashid is about 1 foot tall and 1 foot wide. Let's see how big Spirit is. 1. She's almost 2 Mrs. Angers feet tall, and she is about 1 Mrs. Angers feet wide. Okay, how big do you think that Pikachu is going to be? Rashid and Spirit. Pikachu is about 2, are we counting his ears? Almost 3 Mrs. Angers feet tall. We can line them up this way. Almost. Remember, no gaps, no overlaps. And he is a little bigger than 1 Mrs. Angers feet wide. He's almost 2 Mrs. Angers feet wide. Do you have some friends that you can measure at home? Maybe you can measure a stuffy. Maybe you have a brother or a sister or a mom or dad or grandma or grandpa. Do you have somebody else at home that you can measure and see how many feet tall they are and how many of your feet wide that they are? Maybe you could have your mom or dad help measure you. I would love to see pictures of that. I can't wait for you to share with me. Make sure you go to the activity on Seesaw to send me your work. Goodbye, first grade. Have fun measuring.